Hello, all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. So, last weekend we had a pretty busy Saturday. We had family day. There was a block party in our neighborhood, which was great. And then we spent time that afternoon with some friends from the neighborhood who have children about the same age as my daughter, and all the kids playing together and things like that. So, it's a big social Saturday. For the block party, I wore my t shirt. Campaigning for my good friend Daniel Gatis, who's running for city council, and was able to have some conversations with folks at the block party who are in our ward and have the opportunity to vote for him about who he is or what he's about. So really excited to kind of get the campaign going and be talking to folks and things like that. Really hopeful that he wins, and honestly grateful that I have the opportunity to campaign for him and help him. So that was Saturday, and then on Sunday it was a family day, and then we went to church, and then on Monday I wrote the proposal for the Burndown house that I talked about in the last video, and I worked on the upstairs layout of the historical remodel that I'm working on. We've got the downstairs pretty well refined, but now we're working on the upstairs portion as well. And then on Tuesday, I had a meeting with the new interior designer and one of the owners from the pizza restaurant to get them introduced and kind of get that kicked off and rolling along. So it was a really good meeting. Like I said, I'm glad that the new interior designer is involved and she was able to jump in and help. And I think we have a good direction and can keep that moving forward. Then on Wednesday, I had a early morning meeting for the church that we've joined, the new church that we've joined. I had a meeting for that. And then I worked on the drawings for the HVAC headquarters project that we're working on. And unfortunately, ran into some snags there with a Revit crashed, and so I lost a little bit of work and things like that. But that's just part of it. Thankfully, it wasn't too much. And but really, I'm working through refining the layout with them, and I think we're about there, which is good. The owners are very engaged and giving feedback, which is helpful. It's productive feedback, which is nice, and so I really like that, and we're able to work through a lot of things. And so tweaking that layout to get it where it needs to be. Then I went and had lunch with a local architect who specializes in doing modern houses. He's been in the industry for a while and doing modern houses for a while. He recently struck out on his own after having been with a bigger shop for a long time, and so I was curious to sit down with him and talk shop a little bit and see what he's into and what he's about and how he's gonna do it. And so we talked about that, and then left lunch and went and toured a project that's under construction with him, and really just incredible work. I feel like I've seen a lot of really good modern houses. This one was great, and it was a pleasure to walk through with him and hear his perspective on things there. So that was a lot of fun. And then had a meeting that afternoon with the HVAC client. So worked on the drawings in the morning and the afternoon, and then met with them to go through the refinements that we had made. And then on Thursday, so for the that HVAC company, the scope kind of started big and really has narrowed down a little bit in terms of like square footage. And as you add square footage, you have to have more restrooms and things like that. And in this case, is an existing building, and so our square footage is definite, it's defined, and we're not adding to it. But how that space gets used and chopped up, and so a conference room that's an assembly space versus a single occupant office versus warehouse space, all of those things get calculated differently. So we're really working through how to refine those numbers, make sure we have them dialed in and accurate, so we build exactly the number of restrooms that we need, and make sure that from a permitting perspective, we're not going to have any issues when that time comes. And so that I really, the architect who's working with me in Chicago, I leaned on her. She was a big help. And then I went to my architect friend in Los Angeles, and he looked at it for me as well and helped refine. And so really, the three of us were able to kind of come to an agreement about how to do that. Normally, I would say it's not that complicated, but in this case, there were some specifics in the plan and the way some numbers are being looked at, and we were right on the edge. Normally, I don't think we're that close to being on the edge, and so it was the difference of clients having to build more restrooms or less, and so we wanted to make sure that we had that exactly dialed in. So I've said this before, I feel like 100 times on here. If you don't have a peer group, someone who you can go to with these types of questions, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you need a peer group for sure. And in this case, it not only paid dividends in helping me do my job, it's going to pay dividends for my clients not having to spend money they wouldn't have had to spend otherwise. So really grateful for that. And then worked on a new bar layout for the pizza shop that I'm working on to get to the interior designer so she could look at it and kind of refine from there. So I worked on that. And then on Friday, finished refining the restroom fixture calcs for the HVAC project. Worked on the bar for the pizza company. Wrote a proposal for a coffee and mocktail bar. The MEP engineer who I like to work with sent me a project, which is kind of unusual, but I'm grateful for. I love partnering with them, so was happy to do it. And so it's a really small 600 square foot space, and they asked me for a proposal for architectural services, so I was able to put that together to do that. And then I came across an Instagram video, somebody I follow, it's an architect, LG Squared, Chris is his name. He had put out an Instagram post or series of posts explaining a flat slab or matte slab detail that he was using on a house here in Atlanta. 8-inch slab, 8 inches of gravel with 2 inches of insulation, high density insulation, I think, in between. And he had his drawings, and he was on site where the slab was being poured and was talking through the details. And so that was really interesting. I would say a lot of architects do not do that. You can find a detail like that drawn, but no explanation for it. So it was really cool to have videos of him explaining what it was. And so I actually sent that series of videos, one to my structural engineer and one to a contractor who I'm working with who I designed a house for a client. The contractor's looking at it. I had it designed on crawl space. They want to convert it to slab on grade. And so I sent it to them and said, hey, if we're going to do slab on grade, is this something we can look at, something we can consider? And so we'll do that. So really, shout out to LG Squared who had put those videos out. It was a big help to me in just helping me understand more and more, deeper and deeper understanding of building science and its application, and really questioning, okay, is that something I can use? Is it something that works for my projects? What does my structural engineer say? Not just ripping off his detail and saying, hey, do this, but trying to consider it in the context of each project and project team. So that was great. I think that is all we have for this week. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts about who we are, what we do, or how we do it, leave them in the comments below. I would love to interact with you guys there, perhaps even respond to a comment in a future week in review. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. Please like and subscribe if you don't mind, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week.